If you're looking for a nifty 50 for your old or your new Micro Four Thirds camera, you can stop looking. Get the Panasonic Leica Summilux DG 25mm f1.4 ASPH. Mark 1 or Mark 2, doesn't matter. They're both great, versatile little lenses that have amazing image quality, spectacular sharpness, awesome colors, and they do a lot to compensate for the drawbacks of the Micro Four Thirds system. That's it. End the video. No, but for real, let's look at what it can do. First of all, this video is not sponsored by Panasonic, Leica, anyone in any way, shape, or form. So with that out of the way, let's move on. So instantly when grabbing the lens, you can feel the quality. It does have a plastic construction, but at weighing 200 grams, it's a dense, thick little boy. The only I/O on the lens itself is the focus ring, which is very nicely rubber coated and has extremely smooth rotation. It screams quality. I mean, especially when you compare it to, give me a sec, the Panasonic 25mm. These two are from different worlds. But then again, this costs a lot more than this does. But you can definitely feel that. But it is compact. As it is only 55mm tall, it's an easy lens to pick up with your camera and just take as a travel lens, for example. And while it is 55mm tall, the lens filter ring on the front is 46mm. The lens itself is a little bit thicker than that, around 50mm, but I don't think the size is going to be an issue for anyone. Now that smooth focus ring does roll around as much as you want to spin it, so it is a focus by wire system, so I don't think that's a surprise, but now you know. And while the lens construction feels really solid, it is not, unfortunately, weather sealed. If there's one thing that this lens does not have going for it, it is the fact that it's only weather resistant. And at this price point, you would have expected to see weather sealing. But the Mark II of this lens does have weather sealing, so it is an upgraded version of this Mark I that I have here. Now, like I said, the picture quality itself is absolutely stellar. Now, you can shoot it all the way at f1.4 and you can get a lot of light, which, like I said, compensates a lot for the downside of a Micro Four Thirds sensor, since that sensor needs all the light it can get, especially if you're shooting in low light. With this lens, it can actually get that light. That's why I had no issue shooting a concert. Just even in that lighting situation, I did need to up the noise a bit and go a little low on the shutter speed, but the situation was much better than it would have been if I didn't have an f1.4. But in terms of sharpness, that f1.4 is not your best friend. Stopping the lens down to f2 makes it significantly sharper all the way to the edges, and you can definitely see that. If you look at this image, it's at 1.4, and then when we switch over to f2 or 2.5 or 3.5, basically after 2 it does get slightly better, but it's pretty much here nor there. But from 1.4 to f2 there is a clear difference. But of course you wouldn't be shooting that 1.4 because you wanted the sharpest image ever. You want to use that to get that light or to get that background blur and that razor thin focus area. Now that is definitely where this lens does shine. With f1.4 you can get very, very nicely blurred backgrounds, and you can get that subject separation done easily and in a spectacular manner. Now, one strange thing that I've noticed shooting the lens at 1.4 is that there is a noticeable magenta shift when shooting it wide open. I'm not entirely sure if that's just my unit or if it's all units, but at least in mine, well, it's easily corrected, so it's not a problem, it's just weird. But going further, in bright, high contrast areas, there is essentially no fringing. Now, MFD cameras are good at dealing with fringing in body anyway, but with this lens, I haven't had it be an issue even once. Nothing noticeable, even shooting wide open. Focusing also has been stellar. It's been quick, as fast as my GH5 can do, which is not the best focusing camera in the world, but I digress. It keeps up with it, no problem. So all of my videos that I've shot with this lens have been absolutely, focusing was not an issue in them. So whether you're shooting at that max aperture of f/16 for some landscapes or some, bigger depth of field stuff, or if you're shooting portraits or products at f1.4 to get that background blur, you can definitely get away doing it all with this lens. And especially since it is a 25mm, which means it is the 50mm full frame equivalent. This is the nifty 50. This is the closest thing, the closest focal length that the human eye can see. So that means that all of your photos will look really natural. And I definitely cannot complain. I've shot a lot of different stuff on it, and yeah, it's just worked for everything. Now, do I still want a zoom lens on top of this? Yes, but if you are just looking for a simple to-go set for like traveling, or just, maybe you're just a hobbyist and you just want a camera that can shoot it all. If you have a Micro Four Thirds body, this lens, this is it. It's a little bit on the pricier side, but I think you can find it used for a pretty good price. I myself paid about $300 for my Mark 1, and that's a while ago. But if you're looking for it new, well, the Mark 2 cost you about $550-ish, which for a Micro Four Thirds lens can be expensive, but it is, well, for a lot of people, it is the only lens that they will need. And of course, I will be making a comparison video, putting this against the Panasonic 25mm, just to show what that difference is like. So, stay tuned for that at a later date. All right, let me know what you think of the lens down below in the comments, and remember that liking the video always helps the creator a lot more than you think. It is so important. But other than that, do me a favor and have a great rest of your week. Great? Okay. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.